Welcome to another episode of First Past the Post podcast. I'm delighted to say I'm joined by my mate this evening. Liam, how are you, mate?
Good, mate. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. It's been obviously a few weeks since we've done one, since our Luke Harvey episode. Obviously just waiting for the festival, and we're only 8 days away now. And this is, of course, going to be our first episode related to the festival, which is going to be an Ante-Post sort of special where we're going to be discussing what bets we've got on already for the festival. Just chatting a bit about what prices we've managed to get on for some of them, and a bit about those races in a bit more detail as well. So obviously, like I say, eight days away now, mate. So how excited are you for the festival to begin?
I can't wait, mate. Honestly, I said on my Twitter the other day, not long now until the best sporting event of the year, and like you say, I'm buzzing for it, mate. I'll be there on the Friday, and I can't wait to get there, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I've not been to Cheltenham Festival yet, and is that your first time as well going?
Yeah, mate. This will be my first.
So yeah, I mean, what a day! I mean, well, I suppose every day is going to be quality, but you're going to obviously be seeing the Gold Cup as well, aren't you? Which involves one of your Ante-Post bets.
Yeah. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it does all right for me.
And obviously, yeah, we'll get on to that bet in a little while. But yeah, I mean, we've got a few on ourselves, and also if anyone listening, wants to let us know as well on our socials, on our Twitter, our FPTP podcast. If you let us know maybe what sort of Ante-Post bets you've got on so far for the festival, be interesting to see what sort of prices people have got on certain horses. And obviously, if everyone listening as well, we'd appreciate if you like and subscribe to us on YouTube, on Spotify as well. So yeah, mate, should we get into it?
Yeah, mate. I'll let you kick things off.
Yeah. So one of my first Ante-Post bets for the festival, I've got Tullybeg in the Potemps, obviously Gordon Elliott horse, and this is obviously one of the handicap races of the week where you look out for sort of a few signs and a few trends you look out for, don't you, in these sorts of races. Yeah, like I say, I got Tullybeg. I managed to get on at 16-1, and generally now the price is around 14. So not much of a difference, but still could well be on the day a bit of value. So Tullybeg, I had a look at the Potemps, and I read a bit about some horses in the race, and Tullybeg for Gordon Elliott seemed to fit a few of the trends that I quite like the look of, really. And obviously, I mean, I'm sure you know as well, like this race, the Potemps qualifier, you hardly get, I think only 2 winners this whole century have actually had won the qualifier previously before the festival. So that's not one trend you look out for, is it?
No, yeah, spot on.
And obviously, the Irish, they sort of take many races at Cheltenham, in particular the Potemps, really. I mean, this race was often a British banker, but Irish trained runners have won the past 6 renewals from 34 runners, and they enjoyed a 1-2-3 in the 2020 renewal and a 1-2-4 in last festival. So, look out for the Irish horses. And I think, like I say, with Tullybeg, trained by Gordon Elliott, he's renowned for doing really well in this race. He's landed 3 of the past 4 renewals, and I think he tends to run about 5, 6, maybe 7 horses in this. So definitely, if you're listening, look out for a Gordon Elliott horse in this race. Whether you fancy backing anything prior to the festival, even though we're only 8 days away, I'd probably wait till the declarations come out now and wait till the day. But like I say,
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
I certainly wouldn't be backing anything now up until the festival.
Because the value's gone, isn't
for the declarations. Yeah.
The value's gone now, isn't it? If you're looking to back anything with a price. Just a few other stats really for this Potemps Potemps handicap race. 20 of the last 28 winners had previously won over a minimum of 3 miles. And looking at Tullybeg, he's He's won over 3 miles once. So obviously, we know he'll say the trip, and he's had sort of previously good form in previous races. And yeah, I mean, you look at, if you're looking in the handicaps, the weights are vitally important, and 5 of the past 14 winners have carried more than 11 stone when they've gone on to victory. So another important point to note. So yeah, Tullybeg for me, I think, you're looking for it. It is hard to make it's quite easy to make a case for a lot of them, but then it's hard to really pinpoint one that you really fancy. But yeah, for me, Potemps, Tullybeg.
Just funny you say that about Gordon Elliott's horses in that race. I was actually at work the other day. I was having a quick look at the Potemps. I've not had a bet in it. I'm going to wait until the day now. But another horse who fits a lot of the trends I like the look of was Dallas de Pictons, another Gordon Elliott horse, Giggins Townhouse stud. So that's probably what I'll be backing on the day. Fits a lot of the trends as well, like you say.
Yeah, and like I say, it's important to look out for that. You can't just, I think it proves, doesn't it? You look at the trends and what fits this race, and it's not a coincidence. Many of the runners fit those trends as years have gone by. So it's definitely important to notice that. So hopefully on the day, Tullybeg will be a much shorter price. Maybe not, not drastic to what I've got, but yeah, I think 16-1. I'm confident he'll hopefully go and be much short on the day. I hope. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed for you, mate. Talking about the handicaps, I've actually only had one bet in a handicap this year, Ante-Post, and I've gone for the Martin Pipe. I've gone with Langerdan. I managed to get on at 10-1, and he's now 5-1. He was favourite the other day, but I think Stateman's gone into favourite now. Obviously, you look back at Langerdan's form last year in the Martin Pipe when he was runner-up to Galopin de Champs, and he's obviously bumped into a Grade 1 horse that day, who's probably one of the best horses in training at the moment, and he only came 2 1/4 lengths behind Galopin de Champs that day. He came back out the other day for his seasonal debut, came last of 6, but he obviously wasn't out to win that day, probably just to shake away the cobwebs. But he's actually been dropped, I think, £3 by the handicapper since then.
Yep.
He ran off of a mark of 135 last year when he came second, and he's been dropped back down to a mark of 137. So he should go really close again. I know he potentially might have a run in the Imperial Cup on the weekend at Sandown. I hope he doesn't, because I don't really want him taking the chance of maybe picking up a little injury before the festival. But that's one to sort of keep a note of, that he might be back out this weekend. But yeah, running off of that mark, I think he's definitely got a great chance again this year. And yeah, I expect him to go close again.
Yep, spot on assessment of Langerdan. I mean, I've seen a few people saying they're not totally convinced because they fear he might end up bumping into sort of another, strong Irish contender, like last year. But I mean, you can't complain. Like you say, you've got 10-1 into 5-1 now, and like you say, drop £3. I think that's, well, I don't think many people were expecting that.
No.
So yeah, I think it ticks a lot of boxes, and I think again on the day, I think you'd be looking at maybe maybe not so much shorter than 5-1 at the moment, but yeah, I think he's got a great chance.
Definitely, mate.
And yeah, so moving on, I've got another Ante-Post in the Hunters Chase. Again, it looks a tough one to sort of whittle it down to a few, and then one that you end up liking. But I've opted to go for Vorsoleil, the Irish trained horse, David Christie. I mean, again, you're looking at the trends and a few stats to go by from this race, and if you're looking at age, only 5 of the last 31 winners were aged older than 10. Look at Vorselay, he's 7. So that ticks one box. And again, the Irish, like I mentioned, for the Potemps, really strong in this race at Cheltenham. As Irish trained runners have won 9 of the past 14 renewals. So you look at that, and the odds are an Irish trained horse will win this race. And I think if you look at last year's race, 6 of the last 12 winners had won or finished in the first 5 the previous year. But that's one thing with Vorselay. Unfortunately, doesn't have that. But then 6 of the last 12, that's half. So you're willing to take a chance on that trend. So yeah, I think and if you're looking at form as well, course form is not probably the most important when it comes to this race and runners in this, because only 3 of the last 16 had previously won at Prestbury Park. And sort of it's not usually important to have too many miles on the clock. So yeah, I mean, you're looking through it. It looks a tough one to pick one, but Vorselay ticks a few trends that I like the look of for this in particular. So I fancy him to go close on the day, and I mean, I managed to get 14 to 1, and he's sort of, I mean, generally now the price is 16, so a little bit of a change, a little bit of a drift, you could say, but nothing too concerning. And hopefully he gets declared for the Hunters Chase this year.
That's one I'll certainly be keeping an eye on the day if I decide to have a bet. Like you say, 16 to 1. You'd expect it would come in a little bit, but if it's still a nice price on the day, I might join you in that one, mate.
Fingers crossed.
I'm gonna move on to my next one now. I've gone for Facile Vega in the bumper. Managed to get on at 10 to 1 just before his run at Christmas. I see the video of Willie Mullins talking about how he was setting the gallops alight at home. Was impressed with him at Christmas time with that run. I think he went straight into 7 to 2, I believe. After that, maybe around 4 to 1 actually. But yeah, his last run at the Dublin Racing Festival was breathtaking. That's one of the best performances I've seen from a bumper horse in a long time. And I think he's going to take all the beating. You've obviously got a couple of other strong horses in the race, like American Mike, Redemption Day, but I've sided with Facile Vega here at 10 to 1. It's now 11 to 10. Did briefly go into odds on favourite, so I'm happy with that pick, to be fair. Yeah, has a great chance. I'll be surprised if it gets beat, because I think this horse is something special.
I mean, we'll just obviously touch on the bumper now. I mean, fair play for getting 10 to 1. I don't know how you've managed that. That's a great price for Facile Vega, and I think I'm in agreement. I doubt anything's going to really change my mind from now until the day of the race, but I think Facile Vega, the way he's won both starts, from what we've seen, especially at the Dublin Racing Festival as well, very impressive. And I mean, obviously you've got, like you mentioned there, American Mike for Gordon Elliott, where he's made comments, hasn't he, saying wouldn't change him for anyone. But he's bound to say that, but then he's not just saying that for no reason, because we know how good that horse is as well. And you're looking at Redemption Day, who also was really impressive, wasn't he? For Willie Mullins.
Yeah, mate, he was brilliant.
And I think I heard, was it Patrick Mullins, I think, came out and said, at home, like between him and Facile Vega, there's not really a lot to separate them. But I think obviously people were just blown away with Facile Vega's performances. He looks obviously the stronger of the two, but who knows, on the day, it probably wouldn't be surprising to see Redemption Day maybe win the champion bumper this year. I'm not so sure, but I'd definitely side with Facile Vega because he's just been breathtaking, and you can't really look past that form for me.
I actually see a quote from Jamie Codd the other day. He said he spoke to Patrick Mullins after the Dublin Racing Festival, and apparently Patrick actually said they think they've got a better one at home in Redemption Day. So if that's true, what a horse they've got there. Certainly not one to rule out, especially at 6-1 at the moment, Redemption Day. So one to note down for sure.
Definitely. I think, I mean, on the day, I think if Redemption Day is 6-1 or still an each way price at 5s, I think I'd probably be willing to have a punt on Redemption Day on the day to see, like I say, if he's at price, I think you've got to really be having a look at him, because if obviously Facile Vega, I mean, you won't need to because you've got him at 10s, but he's going to be really short. American Mike, you imagine, is going to be really short as well. So you're looking for a bit of value on the day. A Redemption Day could well be the one to side with, I reckon.
Yeah, mate, spot on. Couldn't agree with you more there.
Moving on to probably, let's just say, if this comes off, it's probably the best Ante-Post bet in the history of betting. I've got Blue Lord for the Arkle, 40-1. Obviously, as we know, with Fernie Hollows being withdrawn, obviously Blue Lord meant the price for him obviously cut drastically into 7-2 at the moment. You can currently get with Edwardstone being the current favourite at the top of the market. But I think for me, Blue Lord, he is a horse who has taken to fences to chasing really well. I think he's done nothing really, in particular that wrong. I mean, he's 3 from 3 over fences, and I think Paul Townend, I heard an interview from him saying, I think it was after he beat Livrier de Tel, saying the horse was obviously like idling a bit. And he's still sort of, he's got a lot to learn. It's only his third start over fences that was. So, I think he'll hopefully come on from that even more so. Hoping Willie Mullins obviously has him in good order for the festival. And I think with, the way he beat Riviere de Tel at the Dublin Racing Festival, obviously watching it back, if you haven't seen it, Riviere de Tel, Gordon Elliott's mare was, well, I mean, it looked like she was going to win, wasn't it? She made a mistake at the last fence, allowing Blue Lord to gain advantage from that, and he then went on to win. But Riviere de Tel did sort of, bar the mistake. She pushed on and she finished strongly. And I mean, obviously then she had the £9 in weight allowance, and I think at the festival it's 7. So you could argue if Blue Lord, beat her, I know she made a mistake, but she did finish strongly to the line, then Blue Lord arguably got the better form. And I think with Blue Lord as well, I think if you look at the owners, the owners of Blue Lord, they owned Footpad. If you remember Footpad, who won the Arkle in 2018, that horse won the Irish Arkle beforehand, and obviously Blue Lord's just done that himself. So he's coming over here to try and win the Arkle as well. So that's a nice little omen potentially regarding the owners of Blue Lord, hoping for the same, to recreate what Footpad did. But yeah, like I say, I think at that price, I've got to keep the faith with him, even though Edwardstone's been impressive. But no, I'm definitely with Blue Lord. I think he's going to do it. And Edwardstone, just obviously touching on more on the Arkle, he's obviously been very impressive, and especially the way he won last time out. But I mean, I don't know your thoughts, mate, but I mean, I've seen a few people saying he's not really beaten anything. And if you look at it, obviously Edwardstone's beaten Third Time Lucky twice, who I don't think is going to Cheltenham. Am I right?
I don't think he is, no.
You know, and then you always compare that to the Irish form. And obviously Blue Lord's beaten Riviere de Tel. Saint Sam is another one in the race who might be of interest. I know
That's who I
you.
really like.
Yeah. Just
Yeah,
talk us through your thoughts on that horse.
I think his jumping last time out at the Dublin Racing Festival was really impressive, and I'd be with him at the price. I don't think it's the strongest renewal of the Arkle we've ever seen. I feel like now, for me to have a bet in that race, Edwardstone and Blue Lord are very short. So I would be looking for something with a bit more value, maybe at an each way price. And I think you can still get 12s on the exchange for the one I fancy. So I'd be with him, mate.
Saint Sam. Yeah, I've seen a few people saying, you know, if he improves his jumping, because he looked sort of to finish off the race quite well last time out at the Dublin Race Festival as well. So definitely one to keep an eye on. But and just also a stat regarding Edwardstone and obviously Alan King trained horse. Alan King has an awful record at the festival, having only one winner in his last, I think it was 86 runners at the festival, and his last winner came in 2015. So if you're looking at that, he's had one winner out of all them since, like I say, 2015. Then if you're on Edwardstone, I'd be slightly concerned just because of that, because, you know, Edwardstone could go there on the day and prove people right who were the ones saying he's not really beating anything, and then when he comes up against the likes of Blue Lord, Riviere de Tel, Saint Sam, etc., he may not all, you know, he might not have it all his own way. So that's definitely a cause for concern regarding Edwardstone. But yeah, Blue Lord 40-1, I can't complain with that. And if he comes in on the day, I'll be absolutely delighted.
I can't blame you there, mate. Great price, to be fair. Obviously, my bet in the Arkle, Fernie Hollow, I was on at 16s, and Fernie's now a non-runner. So
yeah,
I mean, that's the way it goes. I think he would have won, mate, wouldn't he? Let's be honest. I think it would have taken something impressive to beat him if he lined up in the Arkle, but obviously he got that injury, and it's a bit of a sickener for me. But yeah, I was on at 16s, and he's now a non-runner. So that's one of mine that's gone down already.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way of the game, isn't it? Anti-post betting. I mean, obviously before the non-runner no bet comes out, obviously you had that price with Fernie, but I think like you say there, it's important to mention that he was, you know, he was the strongest one in the race and probably would have gone on to win. Withdrawn opens it up a bit. So yeah, just keep the faith with Blue Lord, and hopefully he manages to win it. Yeah, fingers crossed on that, definitely.
Yep. Shall we move on to the Gold Cup now?
Yeah, where we've both got one, haven't we?
Yeah, we've both got one in this, and I've actually gone with Ante-Post. I backed it after he was beat by Galvin over in Ireland. I thought he was a bit unlucky that day. I don't think he was at his best, and he would have won if he jumped the last better. I think he's the best horse in the race, if I'm being perfectly honest. And if he shows up to his best, I think he'll take the beating. Galvin, like I said, is a really, really strong horse and beat him last time out. But I actually did see a stat that worried me with, I think horses who have run in the Gold Cup before don't tend to win after they've won it.
Right.
After they've run in it, the previous year. So that's something to note. But yeah, Ante-Post for me, 11-2, now into 3-1. I've only had a small bet on it, but yeah, that's who I've gone with. It's a bit of a minefield, isn't it? The Gold Cup field this year.
Well, it is. I mean, you know, you look at Manila Indo, for example, who obviously won it, and then afterwards didn't really look the same horse, especially at Kempton in the King George.
Mhm.
But then last time out, I think at Dublin Racing Festival, put in a great performance. So that sort of, made another case for that horse. I mean, Aplutard, I think I was sort of in Aplutard's camp, but I have moved over to, well, I mean, my bet, I'll touch on it in a minute, but I mean, I think the strongest fancy is probably Galvin.
Mhm.
Ticks a lot of boxes for me. He'll definitely say the trip. Obviously beating Aplutard last time as well. And I think a horse that has really been, what I've heard from the likes of, Davy Russell and a few others, they really seem to be keen on this horse, and they know
Yeah.
he's going to stay the trip and finish strongly. So if he's, in the position coming round the bend at Cheltenham, you've got to say he's in with a great chance. But my bet that I've had a small bet on a horse, as you know, mate, I'm very fond of.
Yeah.
A horse that you keep persistent with but doesn't really deliver,
Mhm.
which is probably a risk to take, but I'm happy to do so. And a horse where I don't think many people have spoken about it, probably for obvious reasons, but on
Mm.
the day you never know. But I've actually had a small bet on Asterion Forlonge for the Gold Cup
Mhm.
at 25-1, and the price is, well, it's the same. Um, with a lot of bookies now. I only placed a bet the other day as well, so the price wouldn't have changed that much. But I think he is sort of the forgotten horse in this. I mean, obviously we're talking about Aplutard, Galvin, Manella Indo, um, to name a few. But at that price, I do believe he could be the forgotten horse in this. I mean, we know he's got immense talent, but obviously hasn't shown it because he's fallen, a few times. And probably the best performance I'd seen from him before he fell was probably in the John Durkan, if you remember.
Mhm.
He, he was looking really strong. He was traveling with immense speed, and he was definitely looking right in the mix before he fell. And if he stayed on his feet that day, he probably would have gone very, very close to beating Alaho.
Mhm.
Um, so I just think it's interesting if he does stay on his feet. At this trip as well, we know he'll stay at it. I think he could, cause a bit of a surprise. I mean, likely to say maybe, probably an each way price, but yeah, it's just an interesting one that caught my eye really.
Yeah.
Just because we know what the horse can do. So,
Mhm.
if he does cut out his mistakes falling at fences normally when there's not much of the race left to complete, then you never know. You never know. So yeah, I'll be interested to see how he gets on Gold Cup Day, and obviously you'll be there to witness him hopefully beating Aplutard.
I know you're very fond of
Yeah.
steering for lunch, but you couldn't pay me to back him, mate. Honestly, I know you like him, but I think he's got too many mistakes in him. And just another point I wanted to say: Aplutard in 18 career starts has never been outside of the top three.
Mm.
So that is some form,
Yeah.
and you'd think he's got to be bang there on the day.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. And like I say, I think, obviously you're with Aplutard. I think I'm with Galvin, but I was just interested in Asterion for launch, and to, at
Mhm.
that price, I think it's definitely caught my eye, and I had to have a little go on him at that price. So hopefully I can see a good performance from him really on the day.
Mhm.
So next we've got, well, do you want to touch on your Mez Chase?
Yeah, I'll talk about that. I've gone for Zambella. Um, got on her at 13-1. She's been beaten twice this season, but over a shorter trip. Um, Obviously, she'll get the 2 mile 4 that she wants in this race. She might want it a bit softer on the day, but the thing I like about this horse, she's a front running horse, and she's got form over Ellie May, who this season actually is at the front of the market. She ran at Leicester, not her last run, the run before. They dropped her in behind and completely spoiled her chances of winning that race, with the tactics they took up over a shorter trip as well. Didn't really do her any favors, and I think they cut out one or two of the last fences, which
Yeah.
obviously would have spoiled her chances even more. Like I say, she's got form over Ellie May, Annie Mac as well. I managed to get on at 13 to 1 the price. It's now 10s, non-runner, no bet. Hasn't changed too much, but has been backed in slightly. I just think on the day, if they get the tactics right and she runs them from the front, she could go close. And she ran in the race last year and fell just as the race was starting to hot up, and she was running quite well and jumping quite well until she fell and obviously made that mistake. So yeah, I've gone with her. I think she's got a great chance. I really like her. I think she's a really classy mare, and yeah, I think she's got a great chance, mate.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like you with the Arkle, in terms of having Fernie, but in this, I had the Glancing Queen, who is not a non-runner, but looks highly likely now to be going to the Paddy Power Plate.
Mm-hmm.
I think connections have made that clear, which is unfortunate. But I mean, she looked to be in with a great chance for the Mayor's Chase, and I had her at 13 to 1. I mean, she's still nines at the moment, but like I say, I think she will not be going to the Mayor's Chase now. But I mean, the Glancing Queen, I think now going to the Paddy Power Plate, I think she's got a great chance in that. A horse that I've been quite fond of and has really impressed me when I've seen her. I think she's definitely got, she's got the form around Cheltenham. I think she'll love it around there. And it's just unfortunate that she won't be going to the Mayor's Chase. But like I say, I think if you're looking to back a horse in the Paddy Power Plate, keep out a look for the Glancing Queen, because I think on the day she'll be definitely a shorter price. And yeah, I mean, she's ran around Cheltenham twice, so she's got the course form. With finishing second on her last start. But I mean, I suppose the only thing to say is that the horse is trained by Alan King, and that stat I read out earlier regarding Edwardstone doesn't look too good. But that's probably the big put off. But no, I mean, I'll keep faith with her, especially if she goes to the Paddy Power Plate, and it sounds like that race has been targeted by connection instead of the Mayor's Chase, so that could have a part to play in as well.
Should we move on to the Ballymore, because I know you've got one in that, and I did have one, but it's now a non-runner as well.
Yeah.
I went for Jerry Colomb. He's unbeaten in 5 starts, 4 under rules. Been really impressed with him a few times when I've seen him, actually. Like I said, he's now a non-runner. I managed to get 25 to 1. I think if they did go to the festival, they was going to go with the Albert Bartlett anyway. So probably got the wrong race there. But yeah, unfortunately, he's picked up a knock. But hopefully we'll see him back out soon.
Yeah, I mean, that's unfortunate. But I've also got a horse in this, which I could be saying the same thing about being unfortunate. I've got Dynamo. I got on at 9 to 2 for the Ballymore. I mean, now it's definitely dropped a lot. It's 9 to 4, but I mean, I think a lot of people who love their racing would have definitely noticed that in the past few days, the all the rumours that have been coming out of Twitter, and if you've been keeping an eye on the Betfair exchange as well, the prices have just switched around, haven't they? Because the talk has been dies at Dynamo, Sir Gerhard, who's going where, and what one's going to run in the Supreme and what one's going to the Ballymore. But it was highly likely that it was in fact dies at Dynamo was going to be going to the Ballymore. But now, if you look in the past few days, it's flipped around again. So I suppose we don't know, and declarations will be out very soon. But if Dies at Dynamo was to go to the Ballymore, I'd be very, very confident. But I'm just, a bit wary, really. I think he'll probably end up in the Supreme, and Sir Gerhard will go to the Ballymore. And hopefully Willie does the right thing. But no, I mean,
what price did you manage to get on that again? Sorry,
9-2.
Yeah, not bad. Yeah, good little price there. I wouldn't rule that bet out yet. I still think there's a chance.
Nor would I, but I just want to find out, really. I mean, I've seen so many people saying different things, but we'll soon find out, won't we?
Yeah, I'm in the same position with another horse, which I'll touch on in a minute. But I think Willie Mullins has got us all on strings at the moment.
He has. I mean, if Dies at Dynamo goes to the Supreme, I wouldn't fancy him, because obviously you've got your Constitution Hills, your John Bonds, and a horse in the Supreme as well, Mighty Potter, who has been talked about a lot, at a bigger price, double digits, I think 11, 12 to 1. But I'd obviously send him to the Ballymore, Dies at Dynamo, but we'll soon find out in the coming days. But one to keep an eye on, because I think wherever he goes, Supreme or Ballymore, he'll definitely have a right good chance. But what do you reckon, mate, to the Supreme? Who's taken your interest for that?
I think I'm going to be going with John Bon. He's impressed me when I've seen him, and his form's been franked quite a lot recently. I just think at the price, I can't turn him down. I think you can still get 9-2, potentially even 5-1 in some places. Certainly probably can get 5-1 on the exchange, but obviously it's not it'll be Ante-Post rules, not non-run and no bet. But he should be going to that race anyway. So I'd side with John Bon. I really like him. Yeah,
we're huge John Bon fans, aren't we? Hopefully, he's definitely my pick for the Supreme. And I think if Dies at Dynamo does go Supreme, that means Sir Gerhard in the Ballymore, and you look at that and think no one can beat him, really, can you?
Yeah, definitely.
Moving on to what is the final bet of our Ante-Posts, which is a horse that has definitely impressed, which is Galloping Deschamps, mate. So talk us through the bets you've got on for him.
Yeah, I managed to get a few prices on the exchange the other day, obviously after Willie Mullins' comments about fancying him for the Turners. I took 9-2, 11-2, and 7-1 for the Browns advisory. It's 5-6 non-run and no bet, but I think you can still get 11-2 on the exchange. He obviously went out to 7-1, and I've backed it a few times through the prices. He got smashed back in the other day, and I thought, he must be going to the Browns advisory, but he's drifted back out again, especially after I see Willie the other day. He sort of reiterated what he said, he'd be favouring the Turners. I think it'd be better over 3 miles. I see when he ran over the shorter trip earlier in the season, Willie said his jumping wasn't as good, and he'd probably prefer it over 3 miles, and he's sort of done a U-turn on it now. So I've backed it purely because of them comments, what he said about preferring the bigger trip and his jumping being better over a longer distance. But it's one of them. It's the risk I've decided to take. I do think he probably will go to the Browns advisory. I mean, I wouldn't want to be taken on Bob Ollinger. I mean, you've got Brave Man's Game in the Brown advisory as well. He's another top horse, but I'd much prefer to take on Brave Man's Game than Bob Bollinger, to be honest. I think he'd have a harder time against Bob, and I think if he runs in the Browns advisory, he'll probably win. But I don't think he'll beat Bob over 2 miles 4 or 2 miles 5.
Yeah, interesting one. I suppose it's a bit like the guys at Dynamo and Sir Gerhard situation, isn't it? Keeps sort of flipping around. What race will he go to? But I mean, yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed for you, he does go to the Brown advisory. But yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I think Galopin Des Champs, obviously, he's been so impressive. I'd be happy to take him on against Bob Bollinger. I think, I know about the 2 miles 4 or 5, but I think with what he's done, I don't know. I can't really look past Galopin Des Champs. I think either race he's obviously going to have a great chance, and like you say, he's going to be coming up against Bob Bollinger or Brave Man's Game. But you can't fault what he's done over fences. So I'm just looking forward to seeing him really at the festival, depending on what race it is, and yeah, can't wait to watch him.
He's certainly one of the best horses in training, isn't he? And when he's still, Willie said it, he's favouring the Turners, but he's still in the Browns advisory. I mean, when you see prices like 9 to 2, 11 to 2, 7 to 1 for like I said, one of the best horses in training, and there's still a live chance he could end up in that race. I don't think you can turn it down, to be honest. And I've gone in the 3 times at them prices, and yeah, hopefully Willie does the right thing. Come on, Willie.
Well, yeah, best of luck to you, mate. And
cheers, mate. You too.
Yeah, they're all our Ante-Post bets for the festival. Probably a mix of both, in terms of we've got good value, a few that have not worked out, and a few we're just keeping our fingers crossed for. But I mean, yeah, it's just exciting, and obviously, we're only 8 days away now, so the buzz is definitely there, and can't wait. But yeah, just before we finish off, I'll just quickly go through all of our selections again, just for everyone listening. If you want to keep an eye out for them on the day, or if you fancy having a little look at them yourselves now, just before the festival. So just to wrap it up. So Liam, your picks are Langerdan for the Martin Pipe, Facile Vega for the Bumper, Zambella for the Mares Chase, A Plus Tard for the Gold Cup, and obviously Galopin Des Champs for the Brown Advisory. My bets are Tullybeg for the Potemps, Fossilay for the Hunters Chase, Blue Lord for the Arkle, Asterion for Longe, Gold Cup, and fingers crossed for Dies at Dynamo to go to the Ballymore. So I hope everyone listening has a few live chances in their Ante-Post bets as well. And like I said at the beginning, let us know on Twitter. Tweet us what your bets are for the festival, and we'll have a little look ourselves. So thank you everyone for listening, and our next episode will be, it'll be a preview in day 1, won't it?
Yeah, can't wait for that, mate. Hopefully comes around quickly, because I just can't wait to get this next week out of the way. Yeah, and like I say, we'll have day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, and hopefully a review at the end with a special guest, fingers crossed on that. So we'll have the festival covered for the whole week. So yeah, thank you everyone for listening. Hope you all enjoyed, and be sure to follow us on our Twitter at FPTP Podcasts. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at First Past the Post Podcast, and we're also on Spotify as well. And hope everyone enjoys the next few days. Further excitement ahead of the festival, and we'll see you for day 1 preview. Thank you for listening.
Thanks for listening. Cheers, guys.